Welcome to the Week 8 Fantasy Football Circle of Trust. If you've watched the Circle of Trust previously, you'll see that I've got a new crown. This is for all the fantasy owners that I used DeMarco Murray against last week. That was fun, wasn't it? So here's the Week 8 Circle of Trust. Bengals quarterback Andy Dalton enters the Circle of Trust. A road game versus the Seahawks could help fantasy owners looking for a bye week replacement. The Bengals will be without Cedric Benson this week, so I expect to see more short passes. Dalton has thrown a touchdown in 5 out of 6 games this season. Chiefs running back Jackie Battle enters the Circle of Trust. A home tilt with the Chargers provides a solid matchup this week. San Diego gives up an average of 121.7 yards per game on the ground. Battle has had 16 or more carries in the last 2 contests, and at some point Todd Haley's going to give him a heavier workload. Broncos wide receiver Demaryius Thomas enters the Circle of Trust. This submission comes from Josh Lopez. A home matchup with the Lions in their weak secondary should help fantasy owners. Big receivers have had a field day against the smaller Detroit corners, as has been documented in previous editions of the Fantasy Football Circle of Trust. Thomas had 10 targets last week and could have a solid day versus Detroit. Giants tight end Jake Ballard enters the Circle of Trust. Home versus the Dolphins can't get much better for fantasy owners looking for a bye week replacement. Ballard has provided 8 or more fantasy points in each of his last 3 contests in standard scoring leagues. The Bengals defense enters the Circle of Trust. This submission comes from Scott 2.0. Check out his beer blog coming soon. A road matchup with the Seahawks led by Charlie Whitehurst, Tavares Jackson is just too good to pass up. Seattle is 31st in the NFL in total offense. Who they think going to beat them Bengals? Not the Seahawks. And finally, the Jaguars linebacker Darryl Smith enters the Circle of Trust. They take on the Texans in a road matchup that's great for fantasy owners looking for tackles. Paul Posluszny has been a monster recently, but Smith has had 5 or more tackles in his last 6 games. The Texans run the ball a lot, so Smith should have the opportunity to make some plays. That is the Week 8 Fantasy Football Circle of Trust. I am the baseball genius Adam Burnett. If you want to see more of my work, you can go on to baseballgenius.com. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, I am a baseball genius. I didn't forget the starting lineup. This week, it's a 1997 Vinny Testaverde.